Welcome, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the first ever Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus live stream dope interview. Today, we have a very, very special interview that I've been waiting to do. This young lady is right here in the city of Jonesboro, ready to take the city of Jonesboro by storm. When I say by storm, I mean by storm. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you Councilwoman about to be Asjah Miller. Hey, oh, I
Hi.
got you. I got you. Hold on. Okay, that was better. I should have led with that one in the first place. Miss Miller, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderfully. Thank you so much for asking. How are you?
I am good. I have no complaints. I've been waiting to interview you and to get this platform so that way we can show the world what we about to bring to the city of Jonesboro. So now that we got this finally here, if you don't mind, for anybody who may not know you, like everybody in the city of Jonesboro know you, can you just give us a quick little introduction of who you are and why we're actually here today?
Yeah, I sure can. First, before I even do that, I want to thank you so much for having me on here, for even thinking of me and giving me a platform to speak to the people, which is what I love to do. So yes, my name is Asjah Miller. I'm running for Jonesboro City Council. I have lived in Clayton County for about 2 decades, and in the city of Jonesboro for a little over a decade. I am a product of Clayton County. I graduated from Lundy Smith High School, and that passion has caused me to, or motivated me to become an educator. So I'm an educator here in Clayton County. I've been an educator for almost 10 years. And I am running because I want to be a voice for the people. It's something I've always wanted to do. I've had a passion for it. I have a degree in political science. I always loved government and the inner workings of government and making sure that it works for the people. And so, yeah, I'm just here to put all those things to work and to be of service because I think that there's power in service, and so that's what I'm here to do.
That is dope. I mean, I already knew all the five stuff. Actually, one thing that I didn't know until the Jonesboro Forum that just happened was that you majored in political science.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't know that at all. So, before we actually jump fully in the interview, I would like to know personally what kicked it off then. You majored in political science, you know about politics, obviously, and you had to have an interest in it, but what was the final straw where you were like, I'm running. I'm running.
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mr.
all
Black
right.
Caucus, we keep it one thou wow. One thou wow.
Okay. So you see how I sat back. All right, we're gonna have a conversation. Let's be honest.
Yes.
So yes, I love politics. Yes, I love government. Yes, I love my city. What caused me and motivated me to run were the recent issues that we've been having in the city council. I was asked by the mayor just to come to a city council meeting. Of course, you want the residents to come, you want support. So I came to support to see what's going on in the city. And to be honest, I was outraged by the behavior of most of the city council members. At that time, we were trying to determine whether or not we were going to allow the county to run our elections.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand for the life of me why they weren't okay with that. They couldn't give any real justification. It was just more so, this is just the way that it's been. And I'm like, well, my tax dollars are not going to just be thrown away because this is the way that it's been when we have an option
Mm-hmm.
for it to be cheaper. In addition to that, some of the council members were saying things like people were complaining because they wanted to make it easier for themselves to vote at one location, or um, they were just really not listening to the
Mm-hmm.
residents. And I'm an advocate for the people. Just because it's easy for me doesn't mean that I should let it fall on deaf ears because it's difficult for someone else. So we
Mm-hmm.
had people come out in droves. We had the elderly come out and say that they needed it to be a little bit more convenient for them. We had people with children who are working and it's difficult for them to get off of work, deal with their children, and come and vote at the times that we had and the limited
Mm-hmm.
location that we had. And city council didn't really care. Disabled people. My mom was disabled. Um, recently she had a trucking accident. It's my Shiro. Whoop, whoop, go mom. Hey. Um, and when we went to vote this last time at the
Mm-hmm.
election, my mom was still on a walker. She couldn't really walk. So I drove her to the election. It was difficult for her to get out of the car. She had like a neurological issue. And so lights and things like that would kind of send her into a frenzy. But she wanted to make sure she did her civic duty. She went out, we voted. Then we were leaving and we're like, oh no, but you still have to go over here to
Mm-hmm.
vote. And I came and I voiced those concerns to the council. It didn't matter. They didn't care. And they still voted how they wanted to vote. And I said, you know what? What's not going to happen if residents are not going to come and give you their concerns and let you know what's going on and you don't care. There needs to be a change. And so I'm qualified. So let me just go ahead and be the change.
Mm. See, I wish I had a black girl magic button. Oh, there you go. See, we getting in there. Okay, that's actually very interesting. For those of you who don't know, this was a very hot topic in the city of Jonesboro as well. But because we want to focus a lot on soon to be Councilwoman Miller, I'm gonna circle back on that topic and get on my soapbox on that one. But since we talk about qualifications, you gave us a brief summary of some of your qualifications. If one was to come out and be like, okay, you have a degree in political science, you work in the school system, but what really qualifies you to represent me in city council? Pretend I'm like your devil's advocate. What would you say to that? Basically, okay, we get the political science part, we get the teacher part, but why? Why you?
Well, I think that I have a proven track record of already doing things and being of service in the community. I've had that track record since I was a youth myself, whether it was in high school, in college. Um, and then I think now you already trust me with shaping the minds of the future, right? You've been trusting me with
Mhm.
shaping the minds of the future for over 10 years or about to be 10 years. And I'm doing a phenomenal job. And I have records and receipts to show that I'm doing a phenomenal job, not just with the students, but with the stakeholders and in the community. And I think what really qualifies me is that I'm a passionate resident of Jonesboro. I think that the people who serve on the city council should be passionate residents of Jonesboro who care to listen to the people, who want to be there for the people, who have something of fire burning inside of them to make sure that things get done. And
Mhm.
I think if I were to just throw the accolades away and the accomplishments that I have away, as far as my varying degrees and things like that, I think what makes me the most qualified is that I'm here and I want to be here for the people. Whatever I don't know, I will learn, but I know a lot.
Mhm. I did. That was a okay. That I mean that is a perfect way to hit it right on the head. Because I feel like a lot of the time, especially with black women, and black men as well, when we come with the qualifications, there's always some way for people to try to downplay it, and they'll say, "Okay, so what? You got a political science degree, but if you didn't have a political science degree, that'd be the main thing they throw in. Well, you don't have a political science degree." So further on, if we could go into my favorite part of city government and government in general, of economic development, what are some priorities that you see needs to happen in the city of Jonesboro, and what is a plan that you have for economic development in the city of Jonesboro?
Okay, great question. Well, first of all, we need to support the businesses that we have. We need to help them grow. We have wonderful businesses in the city, but I don't feel like they're fully supported. And so I want to have a plan where we highlight a business every month, and that's our focus. We
Mhm.
throw things there for the community. We ask them to incentivize the community to come with various discounts or particular things that you can get if you show that you're a resident of the city to make sure
Mhm.
that they are growing. Additionally, if you look around the city of Jonesboro, we have a lot of dormant, unused businesses. Let's get new people into the city. We can thrive in the city of Jonesboro. We have a beautiful downtown area, but it's just kind of sitting there with people who are occupying space but not necessarily utilizing it for the
Mhm.
community. And so I would definitely either impose, I don't want it to sound bad, but I would impose some type of a fine or tax for the people who aren't using the buildings because other people could be using those buildings. And then I would welcome various different businesses and that will hit all of the different demographics of
Mhm.
people in Jonesboro. So businesses that will bring services for the youth, businesses that will bring services for our senior community, businesses that
Mhm.
will bring services for our disability, our disabled community. But you have to first kind of clean up the buildings that are just sitting there. So support what we have and invite and create a welcoming space for new businesses to come to the city.
Mm, I love that. And I know you said you kind of said it in a way of like taxing people who are not using those buildings, but speaking with some economic developers who've worked in a lot of cities, that is not an uncommon thing for you're actually hurting the city more by just holding property and not allowing it. You're not making the city any money. You're
Mhm.
literally just holding space. So I have no problem with that, especially with seeing the city of Jonesboro. So if we could go ahead and bring it into one thing that was brought up during the forum, and since we're here, I want to bring it up. There are definitely some disenfranchised groups in the city of Jonesboro. There is a track that goes through the city of Jonesboro, and it's obvious one side is does not have the same benefits of living in the city as the other. What is some things that you will make sure that you bring to the city of Jonesboro that is going to bring in more community involvement and more community involvement when it comes to decision making in certain policies that goes on in the city?
Okay, lovely. So again, I want to be a voice for the people, right? You can't be a voice for the people if you don't know how they feel. And so I want to have more town hall meetings. I want to have, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be formal. We can do coffees and chat, which is another way to bring economic development. We can do little coffee shops in the city. Bring everybody out. Let's just talk. Tell me how you feel about the city. Tell me how you feel about things that are going on. Here's what we're going to be voting on soon. Tell me what your opinions are on that. Additionally, I want to add things to our website, even maybe make an app so it's friendly, right? And
Mhm.
easily accessible for people where they can see what decisions are coming to the city council and have various ways that they can vote on that, whether it's a simple poll where they can just click. It doesn't have to be too convoluted where they can't necessarily understand what's going on. I want to make it plain English for people so that they can voice their opinion before we have a chance to vote on it. Because how dare I say that I'm voting in the best interest of the people if I don't even know what they want, right? And
Mhm.
so making it accessible on our website, making it accessible in an app version, having a lot of instances where we can come together and get to know each other, build a
Mhm.
relationship, and also talk about what may be um, heavy on their heart and or things that they want to highlight and that they want to see more of. But we
Mhm.
have to have those conversations and we have to build those relationships with everyone, no matter um, what side of the tracks you're on. You need to come together.
Ooh,
We need to be together. Mhm.
that is facts right there. Um, let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper in because we can't ignore the elephant in the room. We know about the city of Jonesboro. We know the history behind the city of Jonesboro. How does it make you feel being a black woman running for such a position with the history of the city? And again, we love the city of Jonesboro, but history is history. How would you answer that? Being a black woman stepping into this position with the history of the city of Jonesboro, what does that make you feel like?
Because of the way that I look at challenges, I'm excited
Mhm.
for it. I am one that likes to push the envelope and make people comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so I'm excited to be the change and redirect a little bit so that history doesn't repeat itself,
Mhm.
redirect the course of the city. History is what it is, you know. I appreciate history. Um, it does tell a lot about the city of Jonesboro, and I think that there are some people who have been in the city of Jonesboro since it had its certain um,
Mhm.
historical moments,
Mhm.
and they want to see it that to continue to stay that way. However, they need to understand that the city has changed and that everyone deserves to be represented in the city. And at this point, although history is what it is, we have over 70% of um, people of color in this committee. And so you're going to have to be okay with the history being challenged. There are some things that make me a little uncomfortable, if I'm to be completely honest, that may not go well with all of the citizens, but having to constantly walk past plantation houses that are preserved and things of that nature. I think the question I always run across is, what are we saying? What we're choosing to preserve of history, right? There are some great things that came from it, as far as, recognition for the city, funds that came from it for the city, that helped to build the city up. But we have to work on what we choose to preserve. And so I'm excited to change the narrative. And so it doesn't really bother me. History is just that. It's in the past. So let's move forward with the future.
Agreed. I totally agree. And for people who don't know, there's actually a Confederate cemetery in the city of Jonesboro that still has a Confederate flag, waving very proudly. And I think when it comes to me seeing people, as the city of Jonesboro had its first mayor of color. And when people were saying this isn't an election about color, it kind of makes me feel a type of way, because when I drive through the city of Jonesboro, all I see is, like you said, plantation houses, Confederate cemeteries. So this is something we can't ignore. If you had to go to Lee Street Park and a young Black girl walked up to you and said, I think I can run for city council because I see you all doing it, no matter what challenges came your way, do you find that to be enough drive to keep going?
Definitely. Definitely. I was out canvassing yesterday, and I saw a group of 3 young women. 2 were 9 in the 3rd grade, and the other one was in the 1st grade. And she was like, "This is you on the flyer. That's the mayor. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I wanted to be a chef, but I can be a mayor too." Yes, baby, you sure can. And so, yes, it's definitely drive to keep going. And it definitely fuels my fire to be that face for the people and young girls, but there's not representation in Jonesboro. So young girls, young men, older men, right? Some of my residents said something like, those other people aren't going to let you do what you need to do. They might not even let you in there. And so to change that narrative, to show them that, yes, we can, right? Yes, we definitely can. That's all the fuel that I need to make a change.
Yeah, and canvassing in the city as well, I definitely hear those same things. And what I won't say it irks me, but what I like to educate people on is, when you look at the demographics of the city of Jonesboro, it's not about whether if they will let you or not. 70% of the population in the city of Jonesboro, 72 to 73, looks like us. What what is something, as being a teacher, education background, what will you do to help educate people in the city who just don't know how things work? They really think there's this, beings of power that really control this, not realizing that the power is in the vote. What is one way you see yourself with your background to educate the people on true civics?
So I think everything comes with building relationships, right? The reason that I'm considered the child whisperer at every job that I go to is because I show my students that I care about them. And so the first thing that needs to happen is we need to build relationships with our community and our citizens and residents, bring them out again to things where we can just have conversations, or maybe a fun event, maybe a paint and sip, right? But during that time, maybe the first 30 minutes, we have a quick conversation about civics and government and the way local government works, and kind of dispel some of the myths that some people have in their mind about it. I think all you really have to do is empower people. Once they have the information and the knowledge, they'll run off with it. So you just have to have a place where they can come and learn it. And I think in the city, we have a decent amount of events like Hispanic Heritage
Mhm.
and Trunk or Treat, and the mayor's doing a good job of bringing things to the city, but we don't necessarily have places where we can just have a conversation. And I think
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing. People just really don't understand. And so because you don't understand, you believe whatever um, history has shown you.
Mhm.
And you have to know the facts in order to change that. And so just having a conversation with people, showing them, it could be a PowerPoint, it could be, showing them the ballot. I would show them my qualifying paperwork. Guys, it's really easy. It's just a form. It's really easy to at least get into the race. And so
Mhm.
I think that things like that, making it tangible, putting it in their hands so they don't think of it as in the abstract.
I love that. And just for a quick second, if anybody is watching right now, please drop some comments. We'll go ahead and ask those to Miss Miller that we have right here. Also, don't forget to follow Asjah Miller at A Win with Asia on Instagram. And also go ahead and click that donation as well. Go to asia.us. That's asia.us. And go ahead and let's help keep this campaign running and moving.
Thank you.
Had to drop that little.
I appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? You brought up one of my most favorite people in the world, Mayor Dr. Danya Sartor. What are your opinions of the mayor?
I think she's a phenomenal woman. I think that she's courageous. Um, I think that she's resilient. I think that she's a proven leader. I think that she cares for the members of this community, all members of this community, not just in the forum. People were mentioning just the people who have purchased a home or the people who Danya cares about. Mayor Sauter cares about all members of the community,
Mhm.
from the taxpayers down to the homeless people that are in our community on our streets. And I think that that's admirable. There are no lines drawn with her. If you're a resident, I
Mhm.
care about you. Honestly, if you're not a resident, she cares about you.
Yeah,
So, yeah, no, I think she's a phenomenal woman all the way around.
I love that. And I really wanted to use that to bridge over into the next tough conversation that has to be had that I feel like personally as a black man that we skip over when it comes to black women in leadership. And this is coming from somebody who works with very strong black women across the board. And I'm going somewhere with this. Just follow me. I feel like when black women are in charge or the head of something and they're strong, they're courageous, they're not easy, they're not going to back down from what they believe is right. Of course, it always comes with this angry black woman stereotype. If we could talk about this stereotype that I feel like black queens are always stuck with, but when we as black men most definitely do it, we big alpha, we sticking our chests out. What is one? I want to get your opinion on that and why you think that it is that way. And then two, what is a way that you plan to lead strong, fearlessly without allowing that narrative to shake you off your game?
Okay, great question. So my opinion on that. My opinion on that is that it is fact, right? That is definitely what we have to deal with. And I try not to dwell so much on the things that I cannot change. People's perception of
Mhm.
me beyond um, what I'm doing for the city, but how you feel about me personally, is something that I cannot change, right? I can put forth my best foot and I can do what I'm supposed to do, what I'm elected to do. And other than that, right, I can't let it take too much of my energy because that's what those people would like, right?
Mhm.
Um, a wise woman told me the other day, she said, okay, so it's angry black woman narrative. I am black, I am a woman, and sometimes you make me angry, right? It is what it is, right? And so, what I think also I found myself asking is if you take the same situation and you put it on a piece of paper, no names, no genders,
Mm.
would it cause the same stir? And if it doesn't, right? I let it fall off of my back. I let it roll right off of my back because if I was a young white man or young white woman, even, or a black man, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
things wouldn't be so um, inflated. They wouldn't be so um, viewed in the way that they are. And so I can't take that personally. I just kind of let it roll off on my back because you're right. Sometimes I am upset. And sometimes a white man's upset and a white woman's upset and a black man's upset and anger is a true emotion that everyone has. And I can't let people's stereotypes or stigmas do anything as far as the way that I'm going to lead the people. I'm always going to be fair. I'm always going to lead with grace. I'm always going to be empathetic. And if that's not enough, or if that is overshadowed because sometimes people make decisions that make me angry or may make me angry,
Mm-hmm.
then it's okay. And anger and passion sometimes are looked at interchangeably and people don't really understand the difference. And a lot of the times a woman is just passionate, right? I care. You should want someone passionate. And if someone does something wrong to one of my residents, or if someone is not treating the city of Jonesboro fairly and that passion comes out, that's something that should be applauded. And if it isn't, then they should see exactly where their loyalties lie.
Mm, I love that. I'm gonna go ahead and add another shameless plug. We have Asjah Miller running for councilwoman of the city of Jonesboro. Please go ahead. You get it. Eh. Yeah, right there on Instagram. Go ahead, hit that Instagram. But then also, let's get this campaign rolling. Let's get it pushing. Let's get it rolling. So, I also believe whether black or white, brown or blue or green, you have to still work with people whenever people are in the positions that they're in. If you, when you get on city council and there is opposing views on council, what is your best method for going about that, or do you shy away from um, people who just don't always agree with you, whether they look like you or don't?
So again, right? I was a political science major. And so I appreciate opposing views, right? I think that's what makes our country great. Our people, it's a little funky now, right? But the
Mhm.
whole premise of having two parties is to challenge each other and to make sure that you're looking out for these people's interests, I'm looking out for these people's interests, but we're both looking out for the interests of our
Mhm.
people, right? And so as long as that's what the opposition is rooted in, for all I know, I might learn something. Oh, you disagree with me because of this? Enlighten me. I disagree with you because of this. I'm going to enlighten you. And so we're going to have a conversation. We're going to discuss our viewpoints, and hopefully we will come to some sort of a consensus. Because my hope and my belief is anyone that's serving on Jonesboro City Council is there because you want to see the city improve and grow and be the best that it can be. And if
Mhm.
all of us are fueled by that, then our opposition should be justified and we should be able to come to some sort of middle ground. I don't have a problem with people opposing me. I don't want yes men or yes women around me. Challenge me if I'm wrong. I'm going to challenge you if you're wrong. And it should all be in the name of making Jonesboro great.
Mm. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me.
Tell me.
And which is why I love the fact they had the City of Jonesboro Forum this past Sunday, hosted by the NAACP. It was a great forum. It was well put together and all that. But I walked away with some questions that I specifically even wanted to ask you, because Mayor had touched on community policing, and that got me to thinking. Some of the ideas that she put out there, I was like, I never thought of it like that, actually. I didn't know the science behind it like that. So, if we could talk about what is your view on community policing, and what do you plan on making sure that public safety continues to be a priority in the city of Jonesboro?
Okay. Um, so as far as how did you phrase it? Did you say community policing? Is that
Community policing.
community policing? I think the mayor she did bring up some wonderful points. She discussed having a bicycle police
Mm-hmm.
officer, because we are only 2.6 square miles, right? Um, I think also that bonds need to be formed between the Jonesboro Police and the residents. There are 26 or 28 Jonesboro Police. That's not a big number. That's enough that everyone should be able to know every police officer's name and badge number, right? And so they need to make themselves present. And they do a pretty good job of being at community events and
Mhm.
things like that, but don't only be there to police the event. Get to know the residents. And even if that's, us having a sit down where they're available and able to come and have conversations with the residents, because trust is definitely um, something that needs to happen across our nation with
Mhm.
law enforcement, but definitely within the city that we live in. I would also encourage members of the city who are qualified to try to be part of the Jonesboro Police. I think that you should police the communities in which you live in. I also think that we should kind of hold ourselves accountable for policing our own neighborhoods and communities. We once had a neighborhood watch. Let's do that again. Let's hold each other accountable, right? And let's leave the big things to the police. But if it's something like
Mhm.
littering, or you're walking past the park and you see something that's inappropriate, or you see, you know, a group of people that I think we had an issue with people that were like smoking at the park or something like that while little children are there,
Mhm.
have a conversation with them. Hey, we care about our community. We care about our kids. Let's not do that, right? As long as it's safe. I don't want anybody to put themselves in danger, but we need
Mhm.
to have camaraderie within our community because it takes a village. And so I think that we would need to to police each other, right? And neighborhood watch and be able to talk to our residents who we see doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I think that there needs to be a bridge and a relationship built with this PD in the city of
Mhm.
Jonesboro. And I think that the bikers and things like that are great ideas. Um, and I think those will kind of help us level out. We're not that big. We can do it together within the residents.
Yes. I love that so much. We are actually approaching on time here, and I know you are running a tremendous campaign. You are out here working hard, so I appreciate you even taking the time out to speak with us. Before we let you go, though, I need everybody to hit that donation link, though. You feel me? Go to the website, hit the donation link, send it to your mama, your grandmama, all of them. Yes, you have to be a citizen in the city of Jonesboro to vote, funds or not. And it takes money to run a campaign. Um, Actually, before I let you slide out, I want to actually touch on that part really quickly. Because we hear a lot of people complaining about, every time people run, they always ask us for money. It's always about money, 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 money. Can you just touch on, and correct me if I'm wrong, your first time running,
First time running,
never ran before, this is your first
never
time
ran.
running.
On
Your
a
ex
teaching salary. Let's throw
on a
that
team.
in there.
And then dealing with them kids at school too. So she running in the free campus but the why is funding and grassroots funding important? And can you just explain why it's for you specifically? I can't speak for them other politicians out there or community people. Why is funding of a campaign so important?
Um, for a few reasons. What you need to get your name out there, right? Especially me as a first time person running. And everything has a price tag attached to it. The cute flyers that are your door, the cute mailers that come into the mail, the yard signs, t-shirts, paying people to stand at the polls. All of these things come with a price tag. Feeding the people as they come out and support you and get to know you. All of these things have a price tag. And it's important to me to do it through grassroots and donations from people that I know as opposed to corporations and things like that. I think that's how you keep the authenticity of your
Hmm.
candidate. I think sometimes because I could, right, utilize bigger businesses and things like that, but then they have agendas that they want me to prioritize, and I want to prioritize the citizens of Jonesboro. And so, in order to make sure that your candidate is authentic and not compromised,
Hmm.
then we need to make sure that as individuals, we're doing what we need to do to support them and to support their campaign so that their focus can be on the individuals and the interests of the individuals in their respective community, municipalities, and things of that nature.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But one thing I can say though is Man, hit the donation website. We need to get this sister into office for the city of the city of Jonesboro. We are shaking it up here. Again, this is a person that we vouch for here at the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus. She is going to do amazing, amazing, amazing things. So please visit the website, hit the donation link. Please spread it on to your friends, but also to make sure you keep up with the journey on social media. A win with Asjah. That's AWINWITHASJAH. I want to thank you so much again for tuning in with us. And this ain't gonna be the last time we talk, but any going out words to the good people that's gonna be watching at home and listening to this on Spotify and in the car and all that type of stuff.
Okay. Yes, I definitely want to say thank you again for having me. Thank you for all of the shout outs and the plugs. I appreciate it. Um, I want to let the people know that early voting has started. It started yesterday, October 16th. We had record numbers on our first day, 3 times the amount of people came out on Monday than they did last year. On the first day of early voting. So I'm very excited about that. The city is listening. The city wants change, and it's evident. And I am so very proud of the residents of Jonesboro. Um, Early voting is from October 16th all the way until November 3rd. And you have 2 Saturdays in there. Shout out to the mayor for getting the polling hours extended. Residents of Jonesboro. Big shout outs to her for that. You used to only be able to vote until 4:30. She has it extended from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And so that's amazing, and everyone needs to know that. And election day, of course, is November 7th. I want to say again, I hope I can count on your support. I hope I can count on your vote. I want to bring great things to the city. I want to bring tutoring services for our students. I want to bring financial literacy courses for our students. I want to bring services for our senior community. I want things that are fun for our senior community because they should be able to have fun in their community without having to go outside of it. I want to see the people in Jonesboro be able to work and have a decent wage and make a living in the city of Jonesboro. And so just keep those things in mind. Understand that I'm here to listen and be a voice for the people. I'm going to do the best that I can with a little extra on top of that to make sure that you all feel listened to, heard, and appreciated, and that you are okay and confident about where your tax dollars are going and how they're being spent. So, vote Asjah for Jonesboro City Council.
You dig. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us. This is the season 1, episode 1 of the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus interview series, kicking it off here with candidate, soon to be, going to be, already is Councilwoman Asjah Miller. Make sure you go ahead and follow us at YDG Black Caucus on Instagram and X. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube too. And if you have any candidates or any community people that you would love to see on, come up here and chop it up with us, let us know. But until next time, we gone. Power to the people. All people.
All people.
You dig. Thank you, Asjah.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.